Good evening and a very warm welcome to State of Business on our television. I am Savindra Javardhan. Let's look at the top stories for the day. Cabinet approval provided to suspend the proposed LRT project. WHO to make 120 billion low-cost COVID-19 antigen tests available to lower and middle-income countries. News in detail. The Cabinet of Ministers has approved to cancel the light rail transit system project planned to be implemented in the Western Province, taking into consideration the submissions made by Minister of Transport Gamini Lokuge. This was announced at the weekly Cabinet Decision press conference held at the Government Information Department this morning. The project to set up a 17 kilometers long LRT line between Colombo and Malabe, initiated under the previous good governance regime, was to be partly funded with a $1.85 billion loan from Japan International Cooperation Agency at a concessionary interest rate of 0.01%, and the loan was to be repayable within 40 years and had a 12-year grace period. Nevertheless, a letter issued by the Presidential Secretariat P.B. Jayatsundara states that the proposed light railway track project has been suspended by the current government with immediate effect. In the meantime, during today's cabinet press conference, it was noted that the project has been suspended since large number of buildings, including houses and business premises, will have to be demolished, and the cost of constructing the railway track on towers will be immense. Moreover, it has been found that if the proposed light rail transit system has been implemented, it will incur a heavy operating cost.
මේකට හේතු ගණනාවක් තියෙනවා. ඒ වගේම ඒ සම්බන්ධව ඇති වෙලා තියෙන මුදල් ප්‍රමාණය 100.01 කියන එකත් බිලියන 2.5ක්. ඩොලර් බිලියන 2.5ක්. මේ ලංකා ඉතිහාසයේ මෙතෙක් දැන් වෙච්ච මම හිතන්නේ විශාලතම තනි ආයෝජනයක් හැටියටයි ගන්නේ. තනි ණයක් හැටියට. දෙවැනි කරුණ තමයි ඒ සම්බන්ධව වෙන සමීක්ෂණ වලින් පැහැදිලි වෙනවා රටේ මූලික ඒ බලාපොරොත්තු වෙන ඉලක්කය එතනින් යන්නේ නැහැ කියන එක. ඒ නිසා ඊට වඩා බල ප්‍රයෝජනවත් තියෙන වැඩපිළිවෙලක් ඩොලර් මිලියන 500ක් ඇතුළත ඒ ආකාරයෙන්ම කරන්නට හැකියාවක් තිබෙයි කියන විශ්වාසය සහ අධ්‍යයනයක් තුළ ලැබලා තියෙනවා. ඒ වගේම මේ සම්බන්ධව යම් යම් ක්‍රියාත්මක කරන තාක්ෂණ ආයතන පවා කියලා තියෙනවා. මට මතක විදිහට මේක කිලෝමීටර් 18ක කතාවක් කියවෙන්නේ. ඒ 18 තුළ ඇතිවෙන අනිකුත් හානි, ඒ කියන්නේ විශේෂයෙන්ම අපේ මාෂ්ලෑන්ඩ් කියන ඒ තත්ත්වයන් තුළ ඇති වෙලා තියෙන නිසා එය නතර කිරීමට තීන්දුව කරලා තියෙනවා. හැබැයි ඒ නතර කරනත් එක්කම ඒට විකල්පයක් මේ වෙනකොට සාකච්ඡා කරමින් මේ විකල්පය ඉතාමත්ම සාධනීය ලෙස සහ තාක්ෂණික ලෙස වැදගත් බවක් තියෙන සහ ඒ ඉලක්ක සපුරා ගන්නට හැකියාවක් තියෙනවා කියන තැන ඉඳගෙන තමයි මේ අවශ්‍ය කරලා තියෙන්නේ.
Nevertheless, addressing the parliament last week, former Minister of Megapolis and Western Development Partly Champika Ranawaka, who was the then subject minister of the project, stressed that suspending the proposed light rail transit Colombo-Malabe project by the current government is an act of dismissing one of the best solutions provided for the obstacles of the urban development.
රජයේ මේ ළඟදී තීරණයක් අරගෙන තිබුණ ප්‍රතිපත්තිමය තීරණයක් සහැල්ලු දුම්රිය ව්‍යාපෘතිය මාළඹේ සිට කොටුවර තිබෙන සහැල්ලු දුම්රිය ව්‍යාපෘතිය නතර කිරීමට. මේක ඇත්තටම රජයකට ලැබිච්ච ඉතාමත්ම සහනදායී 0.1 පොලියට ලැබිච්ච අවුරුදු 14ක් මේ ණය ගෙවන්න අවශ්‍ය නැහැ. අවුරුදු 40ක් දක්වා මේ ණය ගෙවන්න පුළුවන් ජපාන තාක්ෂණයෙන් දිවයන ක්‍රියාවලිය. ඒක මේ රටේ විද්‍යාඥයින්, මාර්ග තදබදය පිළිබඳ විශේෂඥයින්, විශේෂයෙන් මොරටු විශ්වවිද්‍යාලයේ ජයිකා ආයතනයේ, කොරියාවේ කොයිකා ආයතනයේ මේ සෑම ආයතනයකම ගලාපු අදහසක්. ඒ අනුව එවකට අපේ අමාත්‍යාංශයේ විසින් මේ කොළඹ නගරයට ඇදී යන ප්‍රධාන මාර්ග තදබදයේ තියෙන ඒ මාර්ග 7ක් තියෙනවා. ඒ මාර්ග 7න් තදබදයේ වැඩිම මාර්ගය වෙච්ච මාළඹේ පිටකොටුව මාර්ගය මේ සඳහා තෝරාගෙන සක්ෂතා අධ්‍යයනයක් කළා, පරිසර අධ්‍යයනයක් කළා, සමාජ අධ්‍යයනයක් කළා. අවුරුදු 3ක් වැනි කෙටි කාලයක් තුල උපදේශන සේවාවන් ඇති කරලා මේ ව්‍යාපෘතිය දියත් කළා භෞතිකව. ඒ ව්‍යාපෘතිය 2023 නිම වෙන්න තිබුණේ. ඉතින් මේක අපි අහෝසි කරනවා කියන්නේ මේ රටේ අනාගතයේ තියෙන බරපතලම මේ නාගරික සංවර්ධනයේ තියෙන බරපතලම ප්‍රශ්නයකට දීපු වැදගත්ම විසඳුමකට අපි පිටුපෑමක් බවට පත් වෙනවා.
Moving on to more cabinet decisions, the Cabinet of Ministers has granted approval for the issuance of a letter of credit from the General Treasury to obtain a working capital from the People's Bank to Lanka Satosa for a period of 4 months for the maintenance of secure stocks of rice from October 2020 to January 2021. The rice requirement during the months from October to January is accomplished with the security stocks maintained from the rice produced during the other months, since no production of rice within the country is performed during those months. Accordingly, it has been estimated that 2,241 million rupees are needed to maintain a secure stock of approximately 25,000 metric tons for the period of 4 months from October 2020 to January 2021. Therefore, the Cabinet of Ministers has granted approval for the issuance of a letter of credit from the General Treasury to sustain the activity. Moreover, the Cabinet of Ministers has approved the proposal submitted by Prime Minister Mahinda Rajapaksa as the Minister of Urban Development and Housing to entrust the responsibility of implementing the emergency upgrading project of the old water refinery plant of Kirindi Oya Water Supply Scheme project to the National Water Supply and Drainage Board with the intention of completing this project with immediate effect. Also, the proposal made by the Minister of Agriculture Mahindananda Alutgamage to cultivate 48,000 hectares of paddy using eco-friendly fertilizer during the Maha season of 2020 and 2021 was approved by the Cabinet of Ministers. Furthermore, the Cabinet of Ministers approved the proposal to purchase the total school uniform material requirement from local manufacturers and to provide school children with uniform materials instead of vouchers from the next year. Stay tuned for more news right after this. Welcome back after the break. As part of its ongoing mission to empower and support the young supporting talent in rural Sri Lanka, poultry producer Chris Bro signs a memorandum of understanding with the National Olympic Committee of Sri Lanka to launch the NOCSL Chris Bro Next Champ Scholarship Program. Under the agreement, CRISPO will serve as the sponsor for 20 deserving athletes scouted by National Olympic Committee of Sri Lanka with potential to qualify for the Youth Olympic Games 2022, Asian Games 2022, Commonwealth Games 2022 and South Asian Games 2021. In addition, this partnership will see the launch of an online portal which for the very first time in Sri Lanka will enable members of the public to financially sponsor rural athletes, school sports associations and sports clubs and chambers. All funds collected through this portal will be fully dispersed to the entities they were contributed under process carefully overlooked and strictly managed by National Olympic Committee of Sri Lanka. The scholarships will cover costs such as nutrition, transportation costs, coaching fees, accommodation, logistics such as clothing, sports gear, and medical expenses necessary for the training, grooming, and development of each selected athlete. The program will also give athletes access to a combination of high-value tools and world-class mentors, including foreign training exposures.
In 2018, we launched this program as CRISPO Next Champ. We had a very simple objective when we launched this program, which is what we wanted to identify talented athletes, mainly giving priority into the rural sector because they deserve it. And we wanted to showcase them. We wanted to bring them to the limelight and give them an opportunity to shine and to become the next champ. And today, we are proud to tell you that we have exceeded over 120 programs as such, which means we have identified over 120 such talented athletes who can represent our country in the international arena.
Going forward, we have the Olympic 2020, Asian and Commonwealth Game 2022, and the Olympic 2024 in Paris. Of course, 2020 Olympic will be held next year. Our aim is to make sure that we start winning medals. We have done in SAF games, and Susantika and crowd Darsha they had done in the Asian Games and Asian Championship and Commonwealth. But it had eluded us almost a decade. The time has come that we have to have many athletes continuously performing and winning.
A clinic for providing necessary medical assistance concerning heart diseases for passengers has been organized by the Ministry of Health at the main entrance of the Fort Railway Station yesterday and will be continued till tomorrow evening. In commemoration of World Heart Day, which falls today, the special clinic will provide services related to heart conditions free of charge, including instructions, measurements of blood pressure and medicine. The World Heart Federation in Geneva introduced the World Heart Day as the 29th of September every year, and accordingly Sri Lanka also joined in celebrations under the theme of using the heart to beat cardiovascular diseases. Health Ministry had a function to celebrate the day and also set up a healthy lifestyle center at NCD Corner for the health sector employees at the ministry premises. In addition to that, the ministry had organized an open clinic for providing necessary medical assistance concerning heart disease for passengers at the main entrance of the Fort Railway Station, and the services will be provided for the passengers free of charge till 4 p.m. tomorrow. In the meantime, Lanka hospitals also celebrated the World Heart Day today at the hospital premises, marking the successful completion of 9,000 heart surgeries at Lanka hospitals. The event also included an educational panel discussions on heart health by 3 resident specialists at the hospital.
So today has been dedicated as the World's Heart Day. So the day is actually dedicated to commemorate and appreciate the medical personnel and the technicians, paramedical technicians who are involved in providing healthcare services for heart patients in the country. So apart from felicitating the medical personnel involved, we would also like to convey this message to the general public in the country, because heart is an important organ of your body, and it's actually important. Without the heart, no life can function. So therefore it's important to maintain the wellness of the heart.
The number of people who have died worldwide with COVID-19 has passed 1 million, and the UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres calls to continue following the health protocols taken to curb the spread of COVID-19. In the meantime, on a positive note, World Health Organization announced plans to make 120 million low-cost COVID-19 antigen tests available to lower and middle-income countries.
Our world has reached an agonizing milestone, the loss of 1 million lives from the COVID-19 pandemic. It's a mind-numbing figure, and still there is no end in sight to the spread of the virus, the loss of jobs, the disruption of education, the upheaval of our lives. We can overcome this challenge, but we must learn from the mistakes. Responsible leadership matters, science matters, cooperation matters, and misinformation kills. As the relentless hunt for a vaccine continues, a vaccine that must be available and affordable to all, let's do our part to save lives. Keeping physical distance, wearing a mask, washing hands.
I'm pleased to announce that thanks to an agreement between WHO and partners and others, a substantial proportion of these rapid tests, 120 million, will be made available to low and middle income countries. These tests provide reliable results in approximately 15 to 30 minutes, rather than hours or days at a lower price with less sophisticated equipment. This will enable the expansion of testing, particularly in hard-to-reach areas that do not have lab facilities or enough trained health workers to carry out PCR tests. This is a vital addition to their testing capacity and especially important in areas of high transmission.
Stay tuned for stock updates right now. Welcome back after the break. The trading at Colombo Stock Exchange ended on a negative note today. The all-share price index dropped 34.65 points to close at 5,993.55, and the S&P SL20 dropped 19.61 points to close at 2,476.11. The turnover was 3.1 billion rupees and over 163 million shares were traded. Up next are forex rates. And that's all news for today. With that, we'll be winding up for today. See you tomorrow and good night.